If you're not paying attention to your grip, then you're leaving a ton of potential out on the court. Today I'm breaking down the right way, when you should change your grip, and why it's been the thing you've been missing out on. Today we're breaking down 4 main grips: Continental, Eastern, Semi-Western, and the Pancake grip, to show when to gain an edge and how you should use them and switch through them quickly. Make sure to like and subscribe and comment down below which grip you use the most often. Now let's get into it. So starting off with the first grip, this is going to be Continental. This is the most standard grip and the most universal and widely known grip out of all of them. It's also known as handshake grip because imagine you're shaking someone's hand and your paddle goes perfectly right in your hand. Now let's talk about the advantages, the biggest one being versatility. Now this grip, because it doesn't favor either side, is great for both forehand and backhand. And because it's not forehand favored, you're allowed to hit more aggressive backhands with a one-hander. But the primary advantage of Continental is control. By far, off of both forehand and backhand wings, because of this grip, you are going to have substantially more control than the other grips later on in this video. So if you're a consistent player looking to not be as aggressive and instead just focus on making more balls, Continental is a very good overall grip for you. And some of the disadvantages of holding Continental is that you can't be as aggressive off of your forehand wing. Because your paddle face is so open compared to other grips where maybe they would be more closed, you can't generate the amount of topspin and therefore aggressiveness, but you make up for it with control. And a good example of a pro who uses Continental most frequently has got to be Christian Alshon. He stands at the kitchen line not favoring forehand or backhand, and instead he's pretty universal, and this allows him to have a lot more control. And when he needs to speed up, he's still very good at breaking his wrist, tilting his paddle down to generate topspin. Now moving on to the next grip, we're going to talk about the Eastern grip. So instead of it being more handshake, this is going to be a little bit more turned to favor your forehand. And so this is the grip that I'd say most pro use, Eastern or Semi-Eastern, which is a little bit turned back towards Continental, but this allows you to generate a lot more topspin and deception, and therefore aggression, when you're at the kitchen or baseline. And what Eastern grips do so well is that it allows you to generate topspin and aggression off of your forehand wing a lot better. And because now your paddle is angled a little bit further down, now it's easier to get around it, it's easier to brush up on it and close your paddle, therefore generating more topspin. Also, with this grip, you're able to do inside outs a lot easier, therefore a lot more deception. The good part about Eastern is since it's not super extreme, you're still allowed to use it at the kitchen and get away with it. Some good examples are Hayden Patrickin and Ben Johns. They still stick in mostly Eastern at the kitchen, and they're still able to break their wrist down and counter balls on their backhand side. Now the disadvantage of Eastern grip is your backhand is going to be a little more open because your forehand side is more closed, so you may have to use a two-way in order to close your backhand side artificially, but two-handers are very, very good, and I highly recommend it when you're learning Eastern. So if you don't break your wrist properly, then that's where the disadvantages really shine. Now the last section that's super important for your grip is to use a hexacore. And so this was a game changer for me, and what it does is you remove your stock over grip and put this rubber grip on top, and this allows for a lot more control and feel because these ergonomic ridges really fit into your fingers. No matter what grip you're in, whether you're in Continental or all the way to Western, your fingers are going to feel the paddle a lot better. This is going to give you a lot more power, feel, as well as control. My best comparison is I feel like I'm actually driving with the car rather than driving a car. Make sure to use my link down below to snag some. They're super cheap and I highly recommend trying them out. Now moving on to the Semi-Western grip, this is, instead of it being Continental, Eastern, you're turning it all the way over. This gets insane topspin and crazy aggression. When you're in Semi-Western, every single shot should be primarily forehand and aggressive with a heavy roll. Now keep in mind, Semi-Western is very tough to utilize at the kitchen because of how weak your body is with counters, since you can't really get your backhand down. And when you're in Semi-Western, it's highly recommended to use it for your 1, 2, and 3 shots, your serves, returns, and thirds, but at the kitchen, it's very tough. If you are going to use it at the kitchen, which I don't recommend, make sure that you learn the two-handed backhand because that'll help you close your paddle. Because when you're hitting one-handed backhand dinks in Semi-Western, it's very tough to close your paddle face, so that is going to be the weak point of your game. A good example of someone who utilizes Semi-Western in a lot of their shots is Quang Duong. He's more of that newer, modern, fast-paced pickleball, and he's very good at using his two-hander to still create offense off of his backhand and close that paddle face. And I actually serve in Semi-Western as well as return sometimes there to generate more spin and power. But once you get to the kitchen, it's very tough. Now moving on to the fourth grip, we have Pancake, which is also a little bit semi-Western. I think they get intertwined a lot, but Pancake puts a lot more emphasis on your forehand, covering your body with volleys rather than your backhand. Obviously the most notable example has got to be Riley Newman, and what he does so well is he counters getting low like this at the kitchen line and Pancakes right here. This allows them to take counters a lot earlier compared to backhands, which you're gonna take closer to your body, but it is tough to do some other shots such as covering line when you're sitting Pancake, or covering lobs, or trying to shape the ball as much. Now, I wouldn't recommend that you learn Pancake unless it's for a counter here and there. Colin's a good example of sometimes sitting Pancake, but other than that, I would stay away from learning it. I don't think it really affects your game in a positive way, and it takes too much time to learn and master. Now this right here is going to be one of the biggest takeaways of the video, and this is use the trigger grip. I see this happen way too often in amateur levels, and it is holding your paddle with all of your fingers connected, and it's almost like you're punching someone like this, rather than extending this index finger up on top of the paddle. I call this a trigger grip. And what this does is it helps create a lot of control and feel for your paddle. Now obviously Dekel Bar and Federico Staksrud are great examples, but too extreme because they put their finger all the way touching the paddle face. I think the best way that most pros do it, Hayden Patrickin, Ben Johns, is they put their trigger finger right towards the top of their grip. And I know it doesn't sound like a lot, but instead of having all of your fingers connected, moving your index finger up allows for way more feel, and this is why Ben Johns is able to hit such extreme shots with so much control. Now, I highly recommend you try it out. It's gonna increase your overall stability and control by tenfold, and it is one of the most important things that you need to level up your game that you can change immediately. Many players try twisting their paddle and adjusting all of their fingers to change their grip, and this is way too slow. Instead of adjusting all of your fingers at once, try just moving your thumb, which provides for micro changes in your paddle face. So by pushing your thumb out or pulling your thumb in, this allows you to change the paddle face still as much as you need. Ben Johns is a great example of doing this at the kitchen, and it helps with fast-paced exchanges because you don't need to change all of your fingers at once. Now you can seamlessly switch from Eastern to Continental to even semi-Western just by pushing your thumb in and out. Now adjusting your grip can be a complete game changer for your game, as it was for me. And these key takeaways are gonna one-up your game, so make sure to like and subscribe and comment down below what grip you guys use. As always, I'll see you all next week. Today I'm breaking down exactly how to change your grip in the right way, when to do it, and why it could be the game changer you've been missing. Fuck, I'm good. Is it allows people, whether you're in